All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Oh, that actually broke. Oh man. That was not supposed to break. Yeah, well. Oh man, what am I doing with my life? Okay, so if you're like me, you've suffered a fair bit with anxiety in your life, which means when you are having an anxiety or panic attack, you can probably relate that it legitimately feels like you're dying, and you end up asking yourself, why am I afraid to die? Why do I have anxiety about dying? I can tell you I've had many anxiety attacks that are often physically crippling, and in many of them I have had anxiety about dying. But before I get started, please know I'm not a doctor, specialist, or a therapist. I'm only speaking from almost a decade of experience in having anxiety. However, I am boredom certified in sarcasm, so maybe I could convince you to please like and subscribe. Let me ask you a question real quick. When you have anxiety or panic attacks, do you feel like you are dying? Are you scared to die? Why do you fear death? Comment down below how the feeling of death is tied to your anxiety. You'll actually be helping other people with the same kind of symptoms more than you know. Thanatophobia, Thanatophobia is the name given to anxiety concerning one's own death or dying, but it's sometimes called death anxiety, and it's actually a recognized mental health disorder. But get this, in 2019, a Statista research poll asked people from the United States how afraid they are of death. And you want to hear something crazy? 42% are anxious and afraid to die to some degree or another. As I've said before in other videos about anxiety, you are not alone. And you should take some comfort in that, because that is really good news. I've been there. You're having an anxiety attack, your heart is racing, you have sweaty palms. Our brain is fixated on negative thought spirals and just keeps ruminating on the same thought of dying, or maybe even frustration about having to deal with this stupid anxiety. That anxiety voice won't shut up, and it keeps telling you this is it. You're dying and you're weak. I really do get it. But obviously without some kind of treatment, like therapy or medication, allowing long-term panic disorder to continue can cause health complications. But the actual chances of you dying from a panic attack, it's not gonna happen. Go ahead and Google it. I'll wait. Okay, I'm done waiting. So let's talk about how to deal with anxiety and fear of death. Now, I do believe in therapy, breathing, reading, meditation, and all that. But I think I have 3 cool tips that really helped me, and I think will help you too. Number 1, control. This may seem ridiculous, but you should know you can actually control your thoughts. You don't have to follow your brain down some deep dark spiral that tells you you're dying. You can control your thoughts just like you can a video game. This may seem small, but it's incredibly powerful. And believe it or not, you can program your brain to be on your side rather than feeling like it's trying to kill you. In the midst of panic or anxiety, big breath through the nose and slowly out through the pie hole, and remind yourself, start to train your brain. It's a pretty good computer once you get it on your side. I am in control. Man, that hurts. I am in control of my thoughts. I lead, you follow. So remember this part because it plays into the following steps. I really gotta stop throwing crap. Number 2, the truth. You now know that you do have control over your thoughts, and you will get better at it over time. So let me challenge you. Next time that anxiety spikes and that little annoying voice says,
"You're gonna die. This is it. Your heart's gonna give out."
Take control of the controls and ask yourself, what is the truth right now? This is an excellent way to get grounded back into reality. You can probably testify that during episodes of anxiety, your brain is like a hyperactive child on pixie sticks and too much Mountain Dew, and it hates you. Your thoughts seem to be out of control, and all of those out of control thoughts are death-oriented, fear-driven, and seemingly hopeless. But it's a liar. Break that pattern by taking control and asking yourself, what is the truth right now? This is just anxiety. My heart isn't gonna pop. We already know this is very common. Science even says I'm not alone in this. Science says I'm not gonna die from this. You're okay. Breathe. You got this. Being grounded in truth and mindful is a really powerful way to stop the ruminating thoughts of fear and therefore anxiety itself. Number 3, why? During some downtime, when you aren't anxious, ask yourself in truth, why am I afraid to die? And maybe write it in a journal and write an answer for 5 minutes a day. Wherever your brain takes you, write it as though no one's going to read it, and do that for at least 1 week. You may be surprised to find out that you actually really aren't afraid to die. That is merely what your anxiety tells you. This will actually de-weaponize the fear of death when you do experience anxiety. And when you use it in conjunction with the previous steps, the power of anxiety and death minimizes, and your brain eventually gets on your side rather than acting as the opposition. Now, if you legitimately do fear dying, why? Is it because you feel like you have no purpose? That you've done nothing with your life? That no one has loved you? My first step was, again, to journal for 5 minutes a day and write whatever you want. This is an excellent resource for checking with yourself and, again, staying grounded in truth. Now, I am not trying to push any sense of eschatology here, but I am very passionate about my faith in Jesus Christ, and that has truly helped resolve my fear of dying. But I would honestly say I still struggle with it a little. But you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are literally worth dying for. If you need some love, some communication, or maybe a sarcastic comment to make you giggle, hit me up down below. Believe me, I'm on the toilet a lot, so I've got the time. Yeah, that's gross. Now, if you're not into your faith, then fair enough. Work on your purpose, work on your passion and what makes you happy, even the smallest thing. If you can't think of something, find the smallest thing that makes you happy. Growing plants, seeing how far you can throw a potato chip, whatever. Find it and just take a step towards purpose, passion, and freedom. Before you know it, by encouraging your self-esteem, you will have more freedom and you will have more joy. So in contrast, can I tell you something that's a bit morbid, but it actually really helped me live bolder? Even if you die in a hospital surrounded by a huge family or whatever the case, that moment when it actually happens, you breathe your last, before you see the face of our Creator, we will quite possibly feel alone. You know what? That's okay. The solace comes from our faith in what's next and what we did before we get to that moment. My beloved friends, don't be afraid to die. Be afraid of not living your life. You deserve to be happy, so I challenge you to go and take it. You are not alone. This isn't going to kill you. You have control. And what is the truth right now? You got this. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. You're welcome.